Three little birds sat on my window, and they told me you don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch in the concrete. Baby, sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things stay same, the more things seem to change. Don't you hesitate, girl, put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. Go ahead, your head down. Sapphire faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, your head down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. Happy New Year, guys. Hello everybody. Happy New Year. And welcome to 2021. I hope you had a wonderful, safe New Year at home. I know I did. Haven't really left my place much since March last year. So today we're talking about my song Home and the making of Home music video part 1. I wrote Home just before my EP release party. When I had my EP release party, I had it at this little cafe down the street, friends with the owner and stuff. I've actually worked there before. And so, hi Pepper. Are you excited for the new year too? Maybe? Yeah? So I performed, and I never had an EP release party before, and I just remember sending out so many invitations. Probably like 5% of that showed up, which is totally fine. It's my first one. I just invited all my coworkers at the time at the dog daycare and the place I served, but a lot of my friends, my really important close friends turned up, which was really, really nice. There were people that showed up that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and it was so nice to see their wonderful faces. So I was happy, and then I had some family show up too, which was great too. And so we had a really great time. And so right before maybe a month or two before the EP release, I just decided I feel like I have a really big story in me to share. I was talking to myself like y'all do, and I just decided that, I think I want to really put out an album. It's not just to put out an album. I just felt like I had some real stuff to share, and feeling like they could really connect and maybe benefit from some of the things that I've gone through and shared. My dad, who was a singer-songwriter, he passed away when I was 14, and it was hard because he was also a singer-songwriter at a point, and he was even with a sub-label, independent label from RCA, and it wasn't a good deal, and I'm really hoping someday to win the rights back for his music, because it just wasn't good. So I'm hoping. Unfortunately, I don't have access to that master contract, and I tried tracking down what I could. So I'm hoping in the future, once I gain more clout for myself and my own career and developed it, that the right measures can be taken to claim the rights and copyright of everything, and give it to my mom and all that. But anyways, so with that all being said, it took me a while to really pursue music 100%. After he passed, I just felt like I lost some of my direction. He was kind of mentoring me a little bit at that point, because he knew I kind of had the same flair he had and passion he had for the arts and writing music in particularly. And so it wasn't until like I went out to street perform that I decided, you know, I love this more than the acting that I was doing. I love this more than musical theater. And while, you know, maybe a right project down the road might happen where I could, you know, make an appearance in a film or a show, or I could, you know, do a Broadway show, I think this feels the most important to me. So I went to it. Yes, Pepper, you're important too. Don't worry. So, yeah. So with all that being said, I kind of wanted to include him in the album in some realm, and so I was just kind of figuring that out. But we'll definitely talk more about the album in time, in a couple episodes from now, for sure. So going back to Home though, Home was supposed to be like the precursor single before the album, so it kind of was. And you know, I had never written an album before, so a lot of this was like really new for me, and like trying to figure out the direction of like where everything was supposed to be and supposed to go, and the music industry changing so much into just about releasing singles as opposed to like releasing just albums. And like I like where the industry is going, where now it's like both are acceptable. Like the single game is amazing, and it's a great way to like really build things up, but it's also really great to put out an album as well, depending on what's going on with that. When I wrote Home, I was just like, oh man, I really want to write like a song. Like I felt like really like in it. And my friend Omar was over, and I was telling him about it. So we tried to write together, and I was having writer's block, and he went to his car to get his percussion. And so he comes back, and I basically wrote most of the song. Like it just fell out of my head. I don't know if I just got like writer's block because I was writing with a person, and sometimes, you know, when it's a new song and a new person to write with or whatever, like you get nervous. But so yeah, like by the time he got there, like it was unintentional. It just like happened. And so I decided at the time there was lots of talks of me moving with my boyfriend, and I had never lived with a partner before. And so I had become a very independent person. So I was kind of scared about what that would mean for me. And like, it was like, was I, you know, will I become a different person and not like it? Like, will this person be able to stand living with me? Will I stand living with them? Like, there were just lots of those questions. And then, you know, it's a big step, because like it doesn't mean permanent, but it's a step towards considering that. And for me, being an independent person, I don't just think of myself first in that way, but like it's not natural for me to be attuned to that living situation, especially because I hadn't done it before. And it's not like somebody gave me a map. They're like, here you go, this is what you do. You go here, here, and here, and then you make a right, and then you make a U-turn here, and then you park on the left. Like nobody gives you that stuff. Anyway, this is where we moved. Have lived here ever since. So obviously it turned out okay. So far so good, knock on wood. I'm not jinxing things. It's just, you know, for being in quarantine, you know, it's just really brought to the light that, you know, there really is no certainty for anything, especially right now. And that's good, and that's also scary, but you know, it is an opportunity to be stronger. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So there's actually two different versions online. There's that version that we released a little more than half a year after we released the EP, and then it was re-released on the album, re-recorded, remastered, all that stuff. But I love both versions for different reasons. The version, but anyway, sorry, back to the, what I meant to say was back to the EP release. So it was kind of a surprise, like, for him to hear it because he was playing in the band that I had that day. And so I gave him the guitar chords so he could learn the progression, but he didn't hear the lyrics or anything. So EP release rolls around and I play it, and it's the first time he's like heard everything, and like, you know, he loved it and everything. And then I was like, you know, are you up for producing it? He was like, of course, like this is really great. And I was like, okay, awesome. So the first version he produced, and he played like all the instruments and everything, and then the one on the album we had some guest players and some people that I play regularly with who played. So that's basically how that came together. The music video though, oh my god, so it was the first music video I ever made. First legit music video, and I had done my research, but you know how they say like sometimes no matter how much you prepare, you can't be prepared enough. The experience is the thing that prepares you. So I decided, you know, at first I was like, I met like someone to possibly be the DP and everything. So then he said like, you know, he would do it for this price. And at the time I didn't know that like at my level people like paid people to make music videos. I just thought like you got a bunch of creative friends together and you made some stuff. Like I didn't know, like I was at the very first year of doing this. So I had researched crowdfunding platforms and I decided to go with Kickstarter because they had a flexible goal, and I didn't know how much money I was going to be able to raise, but I just thought, and I didn't know how much it was going to cost. I just know the guys said that he would do it for a minimum of $2,000 at the time, and so I was like, okay, I will try to raise $3,000, a little extra, you know, to use for whatever. I just remember doing the Kickstarter and making the video with my friend, putting everything up there, and then I just started to raise the money. And of course, you know, like friends and family were really sweet and they were some of the first to donate, but like I just didn't know. The one thing I learned about, and even the second time I did crowdsource fundraising, it's a different bear every time. Would I do crowdfunding again? Probably not in the same realm, and we'll get into that in a future episode as to why that is. But with Kickstarter, like, it was great because I connected with people who I didn't even know were, you know, supportive of like what I was doing with my music career. But it was also like I was just like kind of shy about it at first because it was uncomfortable to be in, because you're supposed to like kind of post every day and like update them on the goals, and I at that point I just wasn't that comfortable being on social media and camera all the time. So I had to come up with different challenges to get people to stay interested, and then I lost some momentum along the way. And eventually I started just personally messaging as many people as I could who seemed like they would be supportive, and that was probably the best thing, was just personally messaging and just like connecting with people and connecting with fans and building relationships and everything to reach my goal. We didn't end up reaching it, but more on that next week. But there was more. There's a twist to the story. So thank you guys so much for joining. I can't give away all the juicy details, but next week we're going to be getting into like exactly in the details of that and of the making of the behind the scenes of my music video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week. Do not forget to stay to the end, because that's going to list the covers for next week for you guys to vote on. Each week we do a different cover that I performed on the street before, when I was street performing before the pandemic. And so I love hearing from you guys. I love learning about your music tastes. I love learning about the artists that you admire. Please leave in the comments after this your top choice from the 3 covers after this. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you stumbled upon this video, because I want to hear from you and I want to spend time with you. And I also joined the Twitch affiliate music program, so Also, I know so many things. Don't forget to join my Twitch. It's just that Sarah Lightman, and we hang out a couple times a week. I play music, we play games. It's a lot of fun. And I also have a Discord, so if you want to know more about that, join the Discord as well, because that's where I update everything about my streams. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thanks for watching. Please consider supporting Sarah Lightman on Patreon.